Welcome back everyone to Paul's Tech News, now triple distilled for maximum potency. This week, the shambling husk of Fry's Electronics, the once glorious brick and mortar tech retailer, has finally kicked the bucket. NVIDIA launched the RTX 3060 and it sold out instantly, but you already knew that. And Microsoft will be turning Windows 10 up to 11 with the Sun Valley update. That's one louder, isn't it? These go to 11.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by Micro Center, one of my favorite places to buy PC parts, whether it's online or at one of their 25 retail stores in the US. They have consistently competitive prices and an excellent selection of PC hardware and other tech goodies, as well as the custom PC builder on the Micro Center website. Use it to spec out your rig and it will show you parts in stock at your nearest store while ensuring compatibility with your selections. Then you can pick up or have their pros assemble it for you. So click the sponsor link in the description and don't forget to sign up for the free in-store gift. I remember back in January 2020, Kyle actually did a random Fry's run. He tried to figure out if they were actually about to close because he had heard rumors of empty store shelves, and that's what he found. Stores with miles and miles of empty shelves. He even traveled to the Vegas location to see if it was the same situation there, because the excuse that they gave at the original place he went was that inventory was being diverted to Las Vegas for CES. Now in the long run that was obviously shown to not be true at all, but months and months have gone by with Fry's still seeming to hang on by a thread, even through the 2020 pandemic. And then, on Tuesday, February 23rd, according to a Reddit post, employees were called to a meeting at the end of the day and informed that Fry's would not be open for business anymore. Fry's was in business for nearly 36 years. Founded on May 17, 1985, with headquarters in San Jose, they eventually operated as many as 31 stores in 9 states: California, Oregon, Washington, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, Illinois, and Indiana. Known for their vast array of electronics, from PC parts to car audio to home appliances, Fry's holds a fond place in the hearts of many techies out there thanks to their whimsically themed stores like the Mayan temple theme in San Jose, the Western theme in Palo Alto, the science fiction alien invasion theme in Burbank, or the Alice in Wonderland store in Woodland Hills, which is actually one that I'm sad I never got to see. As for me, my first personal PC build ever started with a Fry's barebones system with an AMD K62 450MHz processor, and I remember I had to return it twice because it shipped with a jumpered clear CMOS header. All across the internet, people have been sharing Fry's memories, like last-minute hardware runs to get a gaming PC up and running, or when they used to lure people into the store with 25-cent hot dog and soda deals, or when one of their VPs embezzled $65 million and went on an extended gambling binge in Las Vegas, eventually going $137 million into debt, being branded one of the worst gamblers in history, and getting sentenced to 6 years in prison. So long, Fry's. Thanks for the memories. The RTX 3060 launched on Thursday morning, with reviews going up at 6 a.m. and the card, hypothetically, going up for sale at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. To the surprise of no one, it instantly sold out at the retail locations where it was available, with online shoppers reporting that it was anywhere from a few seconds to a minute or two before out-of-stock notifications were in place. Reviews, meanwhile, have been mixed, with some acknowledging the card's improvements in power draw and thermals, while others point out that it's not really that much better than an RTX 2060, unless you factor in ray tracing, which doesn't really seem like much progress. It keeps up with a GTX 1080 or GTX 1080 Ti from 2 generations ago as well, just for comparison. Now, Newegg had 9 RTX 3060 variants listed, which are all currently out of stock, of course. But one thing I noticed here was the prices. There are, of course, the handful of requisite $330 MSRP cards, but all the others are significantly more expensive, like $400 for the EVGA XC Gaming, and $480 to $520 for the higher-end cards from Zotac, Asus, and Gigabyte. That's $150 plus more, or a 45 to 57% markup for these top cards, which just seems like a lot to me. I wanted to see if this is normal, so for comparison, we can actually use PC Part Picker to look up the pricing history for last-gen RTX 2060s. We can go up to 2 years ago, which is also convenient because that's when there wasn't a GPU shortage. Now, the RTX 2060 debuted for $350, and then it dropped to $300 to the low $300 range when EVGA's KO Edition variant came out. So what was the price difference between an entry-level RTX 2060 and the best versions of the 2060 that were available? For that, we can look at the Gigabyte Aorus Extreme, which we can see sold for between $380 and $400. MSI's gaming Gaming Z variant of the graphics card, and we're mainly focusing on like Newegg prices down here, but that also sold for about the same. We'll say $380 to $400. And the Asus ROG Strix Gaming OC went for anywhere from $350 to as much as $420, which pretty much averages out to the same general upper $300-ish price range. That's at most a 33% markup if we were to compare the base level $300 2060 KO edition to the most expensive one, but generally that's more like a 10 to 15% markup. So my conclusion comparing that to today's prices for the 3060 is yes, manufacturers are now very obviously increasing the retail prices for their non-base level RTX 3060 cards because they know they will still sell. And maybe that sucks because it incentivizes them to put more of their allocated GPUs into the high-end cards that will sell for way more. Or maybe if these cards are going to sell for well above MSRP anyway, more of that money should at least go to these companies that are producing the cards rather than those filthy degenerate scalpers. It's a bit of a dilemma, so let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments section. But hey, if this helps you in your decision, NVIDIA just reported their revenue for last quarter. A record $5 billion during a global GPU shortage. That's up 61% year over year, and they expect to make another $5 billion in revenue during this quarter. That should buy Jensen a lot of spatulas. And now it's time for tech briefs. Comfortable and supportive. AMD couldn't let NVIDIA get away with launching a graphics card that no one could buy this week. They conveniently timed a tease of a March 3rd Radeon RX announcement for a GPU that you also won't be able to buy. Everyone is pretty confident that this will be the Radeon 6700 XT with a rumored March 18th launch as discussed last week. We do have further confirmation though. AMD named the video that's embedded on their announcement page Navi 22 GIF variation 3.mp4. So Navi 22. We should finally see a GPU based on this long-rumored chip with 2,560 stream processors and a 12GB GDDR6 memory setup. Windows 10 is getting its first major update in some time. Codenamed Sunny Valley, this would probably be called Windows 11 if Microsoft was still trying to sell you a new operating system every few years rather than just harvesting your data and making money that way. But it is described as a big overhaul. Look for it to release later this year in October or November 2021 under the official title Windows 10 21H2 with new animations, the Windows 10X Action Center, per-app multi-GPU management, and a new, softer design. Razer dropped a new $200 webcam this week called the Kiyo Pro. It's got some nice features like a 2.1 megapixel sensor with an f2.0 aperture and support for more advanced video formats, which is nice, but it also only shoots 1080-60 instead of the expected 4K, so it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm personally waiting on the Epos Vox review to see if this is a functional replacement for a good discrete camera and a capture card. And finally, HP is acquiring the HyperX brand from Kingston in a $425 million deal announced Wednesday. HP is only interested in the HyperX peripheral lineup though, which includes gaming headsets, microphones, keyboards, mouse pads, mice, power supplies, console accessories, and apparel, not DRAM, flash memory, or SSDs, so Kingston will still make those. But if you didn't even know that HyperX was a sub-brand of Kingston, you can have just as hard time keeping track that it will now be an HP subsidiary as long as the deal closes as expected in Q2 2021. So there you have it guys, tech news for the week. Your feedback is always welcome of course, so please feel free to leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all of the articles I talked about today are linked in the description if you're interested in further reading or you want to look up more Fry's pictures. And you can also click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Check out my store at paulshardware.net for a selection of excellent merchandise options, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this one in the future, including weekly tech news every Sunday. Thanks again for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next one.